Hey guys, this is Camfrey15 and I'm back at it with another video for you guys. And this video is here to talk about Clippers. Yes, I know I haven't talked about the Clippers since really the start of the year. But since the second half of the season really kicked off for the Clippers like yesterday, um, I thought I was gonna come on and talk about, what I liked in the first half the season and where the second half needs to be going because so far the second half hasn't started off the way that I thought it would be. Anyways, I'm gonna get my points talking about the first half. The first half was a very entertaining, sometimes, you know, upsetting parts at times of the season, but for the most part, it was a good start to the first half of the season. I got what I expected out of this team other than the first seed stuff, but, it is still impressive to see that this team, you know, is really good and can be good, and they still haven't hit their potential yet, are tapped into it. I thought the first half of the season was really good. Other than a few of those bad losses, like the Bulls lost, the Kings lost, Grizzlies lost. Some things, it's frustrating, but obviously we're going to deal with that going into the second half of the season. And I guess, talking about the second half of the season, well, even talking about last night, it wasn't a good start off to the second half of the season, especially when you lose to the Kings. Again. Now, I'm more going to talk about takeaways from the yesterday's game to see how things will need to improve going into the second half of the season with the remaining 29 games I believe we have left on the schedule. Now, I'm in Connecticut right now, but when I go back home for spring break, I'm actually going to catch a Clippers game against the Brooklyn Nets. I believe it's March 13th. So obviously I can't wait to see that game. Hopefully freaking Pat Beverly and Paul George will be back by then because apparently they were full goes at practice but couldn't play yesterday. But I guess my takeaways from the game is from yesterday is the offense needs to be more ball move. Then the ball needs to move more, especially when the second unit comes in because that Lou Williams, Montrez, Harrell pick and roll offense by itself, it's looking like teams are getting a read for it, and that's the first thing teams prep for to shut that down. And really, I think what Doc Rivers needs to do is, yes, the Lou Williams and Montrez Harrell pick and roll is pretty strong, but sometimes you're gonna have to change your offense where it keeps guys moving, and stuff like that. Also, what else can I say? Turnovers, 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 turnovers. And that was a huge portion in the first half of the season too. The Clippers need to cut the turnovers down. Games like yesterday afternoon, where they have this amount of turnovers to an inferior team like the Kings, when the Kings didn't really do much of anything to almost honestly win the game. If anything, if you ask me, the Clippers lost the game more than the Kings won the game because, there was a chance where the freaking Clippers had a chance to expand their lead and, finish off the teams, but they didn't do it, and they, only scored 2 points in like the last 4 or 5 minutes of the freaking basketball game, yesterday. And I'm not creating the 12:30 afternoon day game excuse because listen, you're gonna have to play. Sometimes you have to play afternoon games, and if you can't play afternoon games, then that's too bad. You need to be more prepared to show up and play basketball. Um, my thing is the turnovers need to be cut down because when you're playing inferior teams and you have these teams scoring off like these turnovers, then you're gonna find yourself in a huge predicament, and then that's why you were down. They had a very bad first quarter to start the game where they went literally like I know they made like 4 shots in the first quarter. I don't know out of it was like around the 23, 24, 25 range. It was one of those numbers, but they went like 4 for something. They went 4 for like 23 or 4 for 24 or something like that where they couldn't just hit a shot to start the game off, and technically the Kings didn't the Kings didn't do much or did much of the same. They went like 8 for 24 in the first quarter. And it's like, well, guess what? The Clippers hit all the shots that they had, which were nice, wide open shots. They'd probably blow the Kings out yesterday. Obviously some players need to definitely play better. I thought Marcus Morris, a recent signing, he didn't play the best of games. He at least admitted that in his press conference yesterday, that when he was interviewed, that he could have played a lot better. And credit even to Kawhi, he said he'll take the blame for the loss because he didn't set the example. He wasn't a leader to help the team be prepared for this game. And he did say that the Clippers going down the stretch, starting like as of right now, they need to play better basketball because he knows that yes, we still can make the playoffs, but the question is, well, he says he doesn't really care about seeding. He just wants to make the playoffs. At this point in time, you might want to start caring about seeding because if you did not know going into yesterday's game, and that's for Clipper fans, if you didn't know, the Nuggets on Friday night lost, and the Jazz lost as well. So that was a golden opportunity for the Clippers to go up against the Kings and be tied for second place in the Western Conference. Now, technically, they're tied for fourth place in the Western Conference. So I guess you can thank the freaking Rockets for, well, they're still third place. If they lose again tomorrow, they'll be tied for fourth place in the Western Conference. So I guess you can thank the freaking Houston Rockets for beating the Utah Jazz for us. I guess that's any solace you can have, though. You still have a game up on Utah. I guess it's also safe to say that the Lakers have locked up the number 1 seed. There's no way we're catching the Lakers. So at this point, we're fighting with the Denver Nuggets, maybe the Utah Jazz for the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th seed. And I prefer they either get the 2nd or the 3rd seed, because if they drop down to the 4th seed and the Rockets maintain that 5th seed for the remainder of the season, I'm just going to say that I'm not going to like seeing the Rockets in the first round. I'm more comfortable seeing the Rockets in the second round, but the first round, yeah, you don't want my stress for this level for this team to be high if you have to play the Rockets in the very first round, because you already know the Laker fans are going to troll you if we lose that series. My thing is, and I'll talk more, Lou Williams' defense. Obviously, that's a huge talking point that everybody says. Yes, he gives us the offensive outburst, every now and then throughout a game, and that's nice to see. But the defense is very weak. Obviously that's a little bit you have to do. You miss when, you have no Patrick Beverley because you force Shamet to play, as the second guard to Lou Williams, and we already know there's no movement when William has the ball. And stuff like that. They do the Trez pick and roll and get into Trez. And this is more a Doc thing. I don't know why Doc is not playing Zubac in the 4th quarter. And I'm just going to say this, but what happened yesterday night with Trez should not happen ever again, please and thank you. Trez should not be coming into the 3rd quarter with like 5 minutes left to go in the game, only to finish out the rest of the game. Jesus, you're overworking him a bit much. I know you give this guy starter minutes, but could you give this guy a rest break and go back to Zoo? I'm not saying, like, maybe you let freaking Trez, come in at the 5-minute mark at the 3rd quarter, play when the 4th quarter starts, play him to like the 10 or 9-minute mark of the game. Get Zoo back in the game till I would probably say maybe, clutch time. Unless he's doing really good, I say keep him in there. But if you feel like you want to get more offense, then bring Trez in when there's like 3 or 2 minutes left to go in the game. The stupidity of Doc Rivers not going to Zubac in the 4th quarter, or not even using him in the 4th quarter, I don't see how you're going to win a championship. And if this continues on, not only for the rest of the season, but if it continues on in the playoffs, I'm sorry. I'm going to be, and this continues on, as a Clipper fan, I am very concerned because we cannot give Trez that many minutes. Because one, if you're giving that minutes every 2 nights, hell, even on a back-to-back, you're killing the man. Which, then again, it will say to the point that, you know what, Clipper fans won't be hurt if the Clippers don't re-sign Trez next year, which I don't think they would be able to because he'd probably be asking for a lot of money. Because then you'll be like, well, then if he leaves, it forces Doc to play. We still have to get a backup center, but it forces Doc to play Zoo a lot more in the fourth quarter. I think Zubats is a really good player for us. I think he's a steal we got from the Lakers a year ago. The problem is Doc just doesn't trust him in those moments. I don't know why. I don't know how. The idea I just presented, I think that's a pretty fair idea. If you want to give Trez minutes in the fourth quarter, well, how about you split the minutes in the fourth quarter? And he gave some BS excuse in his press conference because, a smart reporter asked him, why did you not use Zoo in the fourth quarter? And Doc was like, well, you see, we were scoring and stuff like that, and I needed some offense. I'm like, well, yes, you need the offense. And Lou and Trez are paired together from the points that they give good offense. They give really good offensive spurts. The question is their defense. They give little to no defense. Trez, for all, as much as I love him, he gives no defense whatsoever, especially against much bigger guys. Much bigger guys. We don't get, and usually when he's on the court, and we don't get a lot of rebounds, when we're on defense, teams usually get more second chance points against us and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I don't know. Either Lawrence Frank and Jerry West need to get into Doc's ear and tell him, as of now, look, play Zubats in the fourth quarter. We are not standing here watching you play Trez for legit minutes. And the crazy thing is, yesterday's game, he gave Lou Williams a little bit of a rest break when he was coming off a hot streak. He was scoring points. He was willing the team. He was putting the team on his back, and Doc Rivers takes him out when he's fiery hot. So you want to give Lou Williams a little bit of a rest, but you don't want to give Montrezl Harrell a little bit of rest and put Zubats in the game. Okay. At this point, Doc Rivers might just need to admit to the press that I just don't trust Zoo as much as I trust Trez. He's saying it in a non-way. I don't know how Zoo doesn't feel about this. I personally think that Zoo should get more minutes than Trez late game because he gives us the defensive presence. Because what happens when you get in a playoff series against, if we run into the Nuggets or the Lakers? You're gonna put Trez against Zubats, or you're gonna put Trez against those guys because Jokic and Anthony Davis will eat Trez alive for breakfast. And until Doc Rivers realizes that no, I need to get my center into the game, he won't be able to shut them down, but he'll be able to nullify what they can do to an extent, Stuff like that. Zoo plays much better defense, and I think that's one issue that a lot of Clipper fans have, because I swear it's the one thing I see on my Twitter timeline all the time is put Zoo in the game. Hell, I even say put Zoo in the game, Doc Rivers, because listen, Zoo, he's not as good offensively as Trez, but he gives you those good defensive possessions when you need to get a stop, and every now and then he'll make a nice bucket, whether it's a hook shot or a floater. He'll make the shots and stuff like that. He has been practicing on his 3-point shooting, so maybe he's practicing on his 3-point shooting to have more spacing so Doc can keep him in the game, because if he knows that a center can shoot 3-pointers, maybe he'll keep him in the game more, because maybe that's why he's trying to have a perimeter shot, because he knows that Trez doesn't have a perimeter shot. And that's the one thing. If Trez had a perimeter shot, okay, then maybe we're talking a different story. And maybe we're like, okay, despite that, he's got a perimeter shot, I believe. But Zoo has shot some perimeter shots, and he has made them. So I just don't know why Doc just refuses not to play. Obviously, it's just a common fact that it's obviously a done deal that I think we now know that Doc just doesn't trust Zoo, because listen, as much as we want to see him, the moment we see Zubats in a t-shirt, he's done for the night. Or the moment he gets pulled out in the third quarter, we already know he's done for the night. So I personally believe if I was Lauren Franks or especially Jerry West, I would go down and talk to Doc Rivers. I'd be like, look, dude, I know you're the coach, and I know it's your shots to call. But listen, As your boss, I'm telling you, you need to play Zubats more in the fourth quarter. It's going to help this team. I don't know if he's doing it because, Trez's pride or anything. Listen, you got to get your dogs in. Like, when you had DeAndre Jordan, who was honestly almost somewhat similar to Trez, he just couldn't really dribble the ball. You left him in all the time in those games. Why not now? I don't know. Kawhi, he's being Kawhi. I'm liking really a lot what I've seen from Kawhi. Obviously, he wants the team to do better. And I was happy he got upset at one play. I think it was either at Montrezl Harrell and Landry Shamet because we were on the fast break and he passes it for an easy layup. And, Trez and Shamet wasn't paying attention to the pass. And they totally missed it. And he was getting upset. He was like, come on, guys. You grab the ball, lay it up. Pay attention. Obviously, I liked what I heard about. I liked what Kawhi Leonard said yesterday in the press conference. He's just telling the truth. The team needs to play better, and and before I close the video, they definitely need to play better against teams that they need to beat. I guess the last thing I could say for the second half. I guess one of the last two things I gotta say for the second half. The injury things, they're going to worry me now because. Now Patrick Beverley's out, so because Patrick Beverley's out, we haven't been doing well. We've lost 3 straight games this past, we lost to 76ers before the All-Star break to the Celtics in a close game, and then now we lost to the Kings. So obviously it's telling me that for everyone who digs on Patrick Beverley, seems like Patrick Beverley's, a lot to this team, but at the same time you can counteract that point by saying if you're going to play the Kings without Patrick Beverley and Paul George, you should win, you should win. Most of the playoff teams in the Western Conference can beat the Kings. Like, if you can't beat the Kings, come on. Now, before the game yesterday, Paul George and Patrick Beverley, they practiced. I believe they said they had a full practice and they looked good. So, I guess I can understand the caution with PG because he had his hamstring injury again. So PG, I guess I'm not worried. Make sure that hamstring's healthy, 100% healthy before you think about coming back. Maybe not do too much on that hamstring, or not do too much where you injure the hamstring for a 4th time. If he gets hurt again, if he comes back again and I only have his hamstring hurt again, I'm gonna be like, it's just not meant to be then. And then I guess Patrick Beverley. I don't know what the hell's going on with Patrick Beverley. He's been out for a while, like a lot. Like I think he's been out for like 3 weeks now. I'm shocked that he wasn't at least back, yesterday. I'm hoping he's back by the Memphis game tomorrow. I didn't watch him in the skills competition, but if he participated in the skills competition, I don't see why he couldn't go yesterday. I'm not trying to hate on anything. I'm not trying to judge the staff, the health staff, the training staff and everything. I'm just saying, if they cleared you to do the skills competition, why can't you be cleared to play a NBA game? So hopefully he plays Monday. I expect him to play Monday because then that would be like that's like at least 3-4 weeks you've been out, dude. Obviously this team's missing his energy that he brings to the team, especially his quality defense every now and then him scoring, getting those clutch rebounds when we need to get rebounds because he is an aggressive rebounder, as well as at least giving us at least a good 2, maybe 3, almost 4, sometimes 5 3-pointers a game, which gave him about 10 to 12 points. That 10 to 12 points is pretty good. Like I said, we're missing Patrick Beverley a lot. Hopefully he's good to go for tomorrow's game against Memphis. And I guess the close of this thing is the Clippers. They're still a team to be reckoned with, and they're still a threat of a team. You can bag on them if you're a Laker fan or whatever and say, they ain't nothing. See, they lose to the Kings and stuff like that. They're still a team to be feared of, and when they get in the zone, they can be a very dangerous team. I still think I still think there's some things that need to improve, like in terms of having more use of Zubats. But I guess the last thing I got to say they got to improve on is beating these teams with, subsequent records are, if not bottom feeding teams. You like, listen, the first half of the season, okay, that's fine. Yeah, it got a little bit too much to where you were losing to these bad teams that you should have won, like the Bulls and the Hawks, even though they were without freaking Kawhi Leonard and stuff like that. Um, you know, yeah, at the end of the day, now in the second half of the season, I'm gonna be more critical now if they lose to these bad teams because this should not be happening. Um, Kings were a bad team. They're a bad team. They're one of the worst teams in the NBA. You couldn't beat the Kings, who had a really shaky performance yesterday. They didn't do much better than you guys. They really, at the tail of the game, handed you the game. You just didn't take it for the taking. And starting Monday, they got a win to get out of this 3 game losing streak slump they're in. And it's against the team that beat them by 40 the last time we saw them, the Memphis Grizzlies. Hopefully we don't get beat by 40 again because then I'm just gonna be like, okay, what the hell is going on here? Um, because guess what? Then you play the Suns next, and then you play the Denver Nuggets again. Um, so hopefully you guys can rebound. Hopefully the Clippers can rebound because they need to win tomorrow night against the Memphis Grizzlies. Because one, you don't have to worry about Jay Crowder scoring almost damn near 27 points again. So yeah, how about and then also hopefully they play 3-point defense the next time they play Memphis tomorrow's night against Memphis because Memphis couldn't miss. Hopefully they play subsequent game like you know like Sacramento did yesterday that the Clippers can take, and that's the one thing the Clippers just need to take advantage of these games where they can win. They had the lead. They had a 2 point lead over the Kings. They just couldn't make a basket to save their lives in the last couple of minutes. And yes, maybe that's because the offense is getting too stalwart and it's not moving, which it should be moving. I want to see more integration of Shamet. Shamet, for JJ Redick's praise of Shamet, I'm like, okay, Shamet, you gotta start moving around, buddy. Yes, it'd be nice to have play set for you, but run around like you're Steph Curry, run around like JJ Redick, and then hit your threes, please and thank you. He had like freaking 5 attempts that were wide open 3-pointers and he missed them. I'm like, dude, come on, make your shots. And yes, you can say, well, maybe the ball just wasn't falling that night and stuff like that. Yeah, stuff like that. And then, the Trez minutes with Zoo, I just don't know, dude. I just don't know. Doc Rivers needs to someone within the Clippers organization at the top head needs to tell this man to play Zubats a lot more because heck, I think Lawrence Frank, he came on one of the broadcasts, I think Clippers versus Timberwolves in the Minnesota Timberwolves game, and he was really he was really giving credit to Zoo and how much they like Zoo. Well, your front office likes Zoo, and you're seeing that the center that you traded for ain't playing in these key minutes. Maybe you should talk to Doc Rivers. Like I said, I know Doc Rivers is the coach and he runs the shots on the team and how lineups and stuff like that. But trust me, if it was me, I'd tell him, listen, you need to start playing Zoom, or otherwise we might have to look at something. And I'm not saying fire Doc for people who are saying fire Doc, but obviously Doc's not helping this case for people who say fire Doc because they're gonna be like, well, Doc, stop looking like an idiot. Um, you know, I don't know if Doc will change throughout the playoffs, but I just gotta say this: Doc better start changing because listen, I don't see now. If Trez had the height of Zoo, oh, trust and believe, Zoo, he would be a monster to be feared with. But I'm sorry, Doc needs to realize really Trez is a smaller type of center player. He's really a power forward, to be honest. But we'll see where this goes. Like I said, Clippers play Monday. Hopefully they can rebound, and hopefully they don't have me being pissed off all the time, being pissed off tomorrow because they need to get some revenge. They couldn't get the revenge against the Kings. I don't know if they play the Kings again this season, but if they do, hopefully they can get their revenge back on the Kings because apparently now the Kings have their freaking number, for Christ's sakes. They didn't do really much of nothing. So yeah, so hopefully they can beat Memphis tomorrow, and don't go on a 4-game losing streak, go into the Suns game, because if we go into the 4-game losing streak, okay, we're going to have ourselves a problem now. Other than that, I'm going to get out of here. If you like this video, if you're a Clippers fan, leave a like. Obviously, Lakers fans will probably dislike and put something in the comment section saying Clippers suck. I'm going to pay them no mind. I still believe this team is a championship contending team, and I still believe they can beat any team in the Western Conference on any given night in any given playoff series. The Clips just got to turn it around, and it starts now, or it starts tomorrow, Monday. They got to turn that thing around and get a win tomorrow against Memphis. As far as the season goes, second half of the season, I'll probably give, insights and takes on certain games every now and then. If I'm liking something, if I don't like something. So other than that, you can expect to see more frequent Clipper, videos much more this second half of the season, and definitely, I'll be doing, especially when we get to the playoffs, I'll be doing game recaps on every game of the playoffs and just giving my takes on what should work, what should do better, and stuff like that. But other than that, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll catch you guys on the next video, and also hit the subscribe button if you want to get more Clippers content. So other than that, I'm gonna get out of here. This has been Camper 15. I'm signing out. Peace.